actually can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's the 16th of March, it's 9:15 at night, and for some people this is going to be the weirdest thing to be happy and upset about, but it's been 3 months. I'm on cycle day 90 since my last bleed, and I had some spotting this morning. I didn't really want to get excited about it because I just thought, oh, it might be nothing. It could even just be like discharge. Ugh, so gross to be saying that on the internet. But I have just come upstairs to get ready for bed, and I think I'm gonna have a period, which just makes me really happy because it's potentially signs of my body getting back to normal maybe, or just doing what it should be doing. So yeah, I'm gonna do a check-in every day, keep you updated, but fingers crossed this could be the start of a fresh cycle, which is a positive sign. So yeah, I'll let you know. Very quick update. It's Monday the 17th of March. Like I said last night, there were signs of my period coming back, which I was super happy about, especially as it's been 3 months. However, this morning those signs are sort of disappearing. I'm gonna keep an eye still and hope for the best that it comes back. I'm still really positive that there was something, because yeah, to have nothing for 3 months, that it must mean something's happening in my body. We go on holiday at the weekend, and I know for some people they'll be like, oh, that's, you know, really inconvenient to be having a cycle start now when you're going to be going on holiday. I actually don't care. I don't care if I'm on for my holiday, if I'm on for a week, 2 weeks, like how long this one is. I will just be happy to have signs that my body is doing something that it should be doing. So keep your fingers crossed for me that, you know, the cycle does continue and there's more signs. I will keep you updated potentially throughout the day, or tomorrow we'll do another check-in. But yeah, I'm staying really positive, and I'm looking forward to having some time to relax next week on holiday. And you never know, sometimes that can help, like just switching off, giving your body a chance to recuperate and rest. So yeah, we'll see. Good morning. It's Tuesday the 18th of March. The sun is shining, so I've brought myself out for a little morning walk because I think that always helps boost your mood. But I wanted to do another check-in because there are still signs of a period and a cycle, and it seems like fresh blood. This might be TMI for YouTube, so I'm sorry if it is, but yeah, it seems like it's fresh. It seems like it could be the start of a proper cycle, which makes me very happy. So I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. And yeah, fingers crossed it's a good sign. I'd like to have like a proper length cycle. We go on holiday on Saturday, so it would be nice if it stopped by then, but I also am just really happy that it's back. So if it's a slightly longer one, we'll take it. But I'm tracking it, I'm keeping an eye, and I'll keep you filled in. So today is the 1st of April 2025, and just before our holiday we basically got the ball rolling on our NHS funding for IVF, which is super exciting. So it's coming up to 2 years that we will have been trying to conceive, and if you've watched any of my previous fertility vlogs, I talk about sort of where we're at so far, so please go back and watch them. But a bit of a recap is that we discovered through me having some issues and getting some private tests done that I have low AMH, which means my essentially like my egg reserve is lower than it should be for my age. We had an IUI privately last year. If you want to know what an IUI is, you can Google it, but essentially it's in the insemination process, so it's not quite as intense as IVF, but it's also not natural conception. That failed last year back in November, December time. And our follow-up with the consultant, he basically said, given your current situation, don't put any more money into IUIs. Either wait for your funding or save that money that you would spend on IUIs and put it towards private IVF. So where I live in Berkshire, you get 1 round free on the NHS. But there is obviously certain criteria that you have to hit, as there is with most places in the UK. And generally speaking, that criteria is that you have to have been trying for 2 years. Your BMI has to be under 30. You can't have any children already. That's either of you in the relationship. And is there any other key criteria? I think that's the main criteria for IVF funding. Yeah, that sounds about right. So where we're at right now, a little bit of a recap. I had a phone call with the nurses just before my holiday that basically went through our initial questionnaire to sort of discover and plan out when we are eligible for funding. Based on our answers, when I stopped the pill, etc., we are eligible for funding from the 1st of May, basically. So only a month away, which is, yeah, it's really exciting. I'm trying to stay positive and look forward to that. Obviously it makes me really nervous, but a big part of my journey now, where I'm at with it, is that I want this to be a really positive journey. I know it's going to be hard, but this bit before, I just need to be as positive as possible. So we've just been to Washington. We have another holiday in June, which is to Disney World Orlando. And because of the countries that we're visiting, there is a small Zika risk. They're basically on the low risk list, but there is still risk. So the way it works is they will send off for our funding at the beginning of May. Fingers crossed that will come in at the beginning of June. They said it can take anywhere between sort of 4 and 8 weeks. So when we get back from our Disney World holiday, we should be able to go to the clinic, I think it's 12 days after, have a blood test, and as long as I come back Zika free, and so does James, then we can start the process. So yeah, that's where we're at, which is super, super exciting. It basically means hopefully in the summer we'll be starting our IVF journey. So the reason for this intro is because I want to take you along that journey with us. We've got our next appointment, like I said, in May. I want to take you along with us, and just share all of the different elements of the journey so far, because I know it can be really confusing for a lot of people, and I still have so many questions that are unanswered, and yeah, lots to work out. So yeah, I think that's a whistle-stop recap of where we're at. So yeah, IVF funding should start in the summer. We've got a initial consult on the 2nd of May, which is where we go and sign the paperwork apparently for the funding. I think they're going to weigh me. So fingers crossed. I'm working really hard at the moment to reduce my BMI, but in a very healthy way. I don't just want rapid weight loss, because I know that's not sustainable. Your BMI, like I said, has to be under 30, so that's obviously what I'm aiming for. It is just under now, but I want to get it a bit into what I'm calling like my safety zone, so that should they weigh me again down the line, or of course if we go on holiday and I put on a bit of weight, I don't want that to be the thing that tips me over the edge. So yeah, I'm just continuing over the next few months and the rest of this journey to put good stuff into my body, to give it good nutrition, to be happy, to be healthy. And that's, I think, a big part of the journey. It's not just about food, it's about everything. So yeah, I'm doing my best. I'm excited, but I am nervous. So I would love to know if you are also on this journey. How has it been for you? My personal experience of the doctors so far, the NHS Fertility Clinic, is that they've been really, really amazing. So like I said, we went private towards the end of last year to get some initial tests done. That was just our own decision to do that, because the GP, given the issues I was having with my periods, basically not coming back, they were just a bit like, oh, you need to wait a bit longer. And I was quite impatient. I just wanted to know like now what was going on. So that's what led us down the private route. However, when I then went back to them and said, this is the situation, I'm now paying for a private IUI, I know I've got low AMH. When I gave them all of that information, they said, look, this is the pathway to IVF. This is what you have to do. Let's get that started. So they did all of the relevant bloods, did all the relevant tests, so that as soon as that 2-year mark was basically nearing, they could send off the referral. From the point at which the referral was done, when did we do that? I think we did it just before Christmas. We got the initial phone call appointment letter through in the February time. Yeah. End of Feb, beginning of March. So a couple of months. And then that appointment was for a couple of weeks later in March. And like I said, that was just with a nurse. She called me, she ran through all of our health history. So she just asked me the background, how long we've been trying, my current weight. What else did she ask me? She asked about sort of smoking, drinking, all of that general stuff that they ask you. And she then essentially said, yeah, you're eligible for funding on X date, like I say, the beginning of May. So we'll get you booked in for a face-to-face. So I phoned them today just to sort of confirm, because I had some letters and texts come through while we were in Washington. I said, I've got these appointments. What's the crack? What happens at these appointments? Does James need to be there? They said, yeah, you've basically got a consultant appointment first, and that's to sign off your funding. And I guess he'll run through the process with us and how that funding then makes it from NHS to our clinic. And then the second appointment is with the nurses, just for some final swabs and bloods that they want to do to make sure they've got them, they're on record. And while I'm there, they said, might as well.
So that is where we're at, which is very, very exciting. And I think the next time I see you will be in a couple of weeks at our appointment. So yeah, I'll take you with us, and hopefully you can, you know, understand what happens as part of this journey. If you're on this journey, please say hello in the comments. Like, let me know how you found the process, how you found the NHS, if you've gone private as well. Just, yeah, I'd love to hear from you if you're on this journey. Don't feel alone if you're seeing this. Then just know that there are other people out there experiencing it. I never thought in my 20s I'd be talking about fertility journeys. I just always thought it would be really easy for me, and that's not been the case. So yeah, that's why I'm documenting it. I just want to know, hopefully, when we have our baby one day, which I'm hopeful that we will, that I can look back and know that there was light at the end of the tunnel, that I did everything I could, and, you know, be really proud of myself for hopefully remaining positive on this journey, which is hard. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be days that I'm not positive, but I just want to be able to look back and say, wow, this is where we came from and this is where we are now. So yeah, I'm sending love to all of you on this journey, and I'm going to stop rambling.
Good morning. I'm currently sat in the car. It's 8:45, so I've still got 15 minutes, and whilst I could go in early, I am just not in the mood, and that's why I'm doing a check-in with you guys, because the topic I want to talk about today is really, really hard, but I think it's one that not enough people talk about and express their feelings on, so I'm going to do my best to talk to you about it without getting emotional. And right, breathe. The thing I want to talk about today is, how do you deal with when you're on a fertility journey, on a trying to conceive journey, especially when it's been like challenging, especially when it's been a challenging one. Like, for lots of people, they get pregnant in a couple of months, and that's really easy, and in that case, yes, you've been trying to conceive, but I wouldn't really say the emotions that are attached to trying to conceive over a long period and the way it consumes you are just so different, because you want that thing so badly and it's not happening. So when people tell you in your life, or people you know, people at work, anyone, to be honest, that you come across, I think the feelings hit the same, that they're pregnant, you suddenly have this wave of emotion hit you that is two feelings, and you shouldn't feel bad for either of them. Oh, I'm going to try not to cry, come on. And what I find consumes me is I have this overwhelming feeling of happiness for them, because having a baby is an amazing thing. It's something to be really happy about. You should want to shout about it. Like, I will want to shout about it when it happens, but I also then get consumed by this feeling of sadness that it's not happening for me. And that's really hard, because how do you portray that to the person that's telling you they're pregnant, especially if it's come at you by like surprise, if they've told you face to face, or you're overhearing a conversation that you know you should sort of, your instant reaction should be happiness, but all of a sudden this wave of feeling hits you about your own journey and your own process, and that's completely independent. The two are separate. And this is the thing I really struggle to explain to people, and some people get it and some people don't. Me being upset, me having my feelings, is not about that person or that person's pregnancy. I'm super, super happy for them, but I'm upset for me, because I know I've got my own struggles, or I've had, or whatever the diagnosis might be for you. For me, it's low AMH, which is affecting my fertility. And therefore, when I hear somebody else is pregnant, I just have this instant sinking feeling, because I think, when is it going to happen for me? And it might not, you know. That's something I've got to come to terms with, is that for me it might not ever happen, and I don't want to think that way. I want to be positive. I'm sure it will happen. We're on our pathway to IVF now, and that's very exciting, very, very great. But that's the thought process that goes through somebody's head that's on a fertility journey. The feelings are negative about themselves, and it's their own feelings that they're trying to process. It's got nothing to do with the person that's pregnant. And I would never, ever, ever wish what I'm going through on anybody else. Like, no matter who you are, I am so, so happy for you that you're having a baby. And I just, you know, I love babies. I used to work in childcare, so having that squishy little bundle of joy, like, it's amazing, and the miracle of life is incredible.
but it doesn't take away how I feel. And I should be allowed to feel those feelings without being guilty. So that's what I wanted to come on here and say this morning in this part of my little fertility diaries, if you like. And yeah, it's hard. And today's one of those days that I'm struggling. And that's okay. So I'm going to take my extra 10 minutes in the car before 9 o'clock. And I'm just going to sit here. And I might cry. I might watch telly. I might watch YouTube. Who knows? But I'm just going to take that time for me, because another thing that I've realised on this journey is you have to look after yourself and your own mental health as best as you can. So yeah, that's my check-in today. If you are feeling any of these feelings, if you're struggling with how to deal with certain situations, how to process, like, please drop me a comment. You can go to my Instagram, send me an Instagram message. Like, just know that you're not alone if you're seeing this video. And I'm coming on here and crying on the internet. But for me, that's how I process this. Me sharing my story is my processing. I know everyone's not as comfortable with that, but for me, this helps me let it out. And I think sharing it with you guys helps me to process, and it helps me to not feel so alone. So if you're seeing this and you're on that journey, then hopefully it's made you not feel so alone too. I have been holding off during this check-in because every time I get excited, every time I think it's happening, it doesn't. But it's the 21st of April and I started a period on the 17th of April. So what's that? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Day 5. It's come in like ebbs and flows still. But I'm definitely classing this as like a normal period because it's been 5 days. There's been red blood at some point across all of those days. Not as heavy as what it would normally be for me. Like, I haven't needed to use tampons. But it's definitely a period. And it's just mad because I haven't done anything differently. And for some reason, I'm now having one. So, again, I'm hopeful that maybe that means they'll come back semi-normal. But this has been... I had my last one in December, January time, February, March, April. So it's been like 3 or 4 months since I last had one. And the last one I wouldn't really say was like a proper period because it was induced by the Provera tablet that they gave me for my IUI in November. I think there was still some of that in my system, like affecting my periods. But yeah, this is good news. Like, I'm hopeful that this means if my body's having a bleed, that potentially at least this cycle, something will happen normally. So what I'm also going to do is, I think after this period, I will probably try and track my ovulation again. See if I actually ovulate. I'm probably going to do that in another vlog. Like, I'll take you along that journey with me. But yeah, it just feels so like weird to actually be having a period. Which is bizarre because as females, that's like the sign of our body being normal and knowing that our body's doing what it should be doing. But as we know, that's not the case for all of us. It's not the case for me. And that's why I'm telling you all about this journey, because you need to know, like, you're not alone. So if you're also not having periods, yeah, you're not alone. One thing I will update you on as well in the next vlog is I have just signed up with a fertility coach. She's on TikTok. Her name's Sammy. I'm waiting for my plan. But the idea is that she chats to you. She does like a bit of a consult. She gets to know your personal situation, where you're at with your journey, what you want to achieve. And then she helps to do a plan for you. I believe she's done like various fertility qualifications. She's on her own fertility journey. I want to say as well, she's also like in healthcare or as a nurse. So I'm excited for that. I just thought, you know what, this journey, you can spend so much on IUIs, on IVF, on acupuncture, on supplements, on everything that's out there. Like, it gets a bit mad on, ovulation sticks, pregnancy sticks. She charges £50 a month for the first month for sign up, and then I think renewals are like £25 a month. So I just figured I've got nothing to lose. Like, I am willing to try everything, but within reason, because I've realised that I need to find a way to keep pushing. I want to be on this journey, but to not let it consume me in a negative way. So yeah, I'm excited to get that and find out like what she recommends. So I will carry on doing what I'm doing and also adding the things that she recommends, and I'll keep you posted on this period, and fingers crossed we can track ovulation. So yeah, that's my check-in. It's Easter weekend. I'm in my comfies, a little bit of Disney as well. I'm gonna go and sit downstairs with my husband, have some lunch. Oh, I think I've just dropped things all over the floor. Gonna go and sit downstairs, have some lunch, probably watch a Disney movie or Disney vlogs, and just chill out. So yeah, thank you as well if you're watching and supporting me on this journey. If you're also on a fertility journey, like, please reach out, head to my Instagram. Don't be afraid. Like, I'm very open with this process, and I just want to help others on this journey because it's hard. I never thought I'd be talking as openly as I am about this, or even having to talk about it at all at 27. But for me, this sort of video diary log is part of my process. You should deal with this however you can, however you feel is best for you. But for me, this is what works. This gets it off my chest and connects me with other people. So yeah, have a good one. That's me.